China is facing a surprising love paradox. Despite having 30 million more men than women, millions of women remain unmarried. In Beijing alone, single women outnumber single men by 4 to 1. These women, often highly educated and financially independent, are labeled leftover women, a derogatory term used to shame those still single past the age of 27. How did a country with far more men than women end up with a dating crisis, one that seems to penalize its most successful women? Are Chinese women simply too picky or demanding? Let's take a closer look at what they're actually looking for in a partner. I've been going on so many blind dates lately, and honestly, I'm exhausted. The guys I like don't like me, and the ones who like me, I can't stand. People keep telling me to lower my standards, but I can't even bring myself to kiss those short, unattractive guys. It's torture. Finding someone feels impossible. I think I'd rather be alone. It's honestly not that bad. Many women hope to find a partner who is successful and financially secure, but for many, that man never appears. As they age, the ideal partner they once imagined seems increasingly out of reach. Holding firm to the mindset of better to stay single than settle, they cling to independence. But time passes, and disappointment grows. Around 2005, blind date corners started appearing in major cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and Nanjing. These public matchmaking spots, usually located in parks, feature resume-like ads for potential spouses. But it's not the singles themselves who show up. Instead, their parents and modern matchmakers are the ones doing the searching. The gender ratio at these events is staggering. For every man, there are about 9 women. As a result, up to 90% of participants are parents of unmarried daughters. At Hangzhou's West Lake, in the blind date corner of Wansong Academy, a mother braved heavy rain in hopes of finding a match for her 41-year-old daughter. She spoke with a matchmaker. "It's raining really hard today. Is this your first time here?" "Yes." "How tall is your daughter?" 1.62 meters. "What's her education level?" "Bachelor's degree." "What does she do?" "She's a supervision engineer." "That's a good job. How much does she earn annually?" "Around 200,000 yuan. Is she your only child?" "No, she has a younger sister." "What kind of man is your daughter looking for?" "Similar conditions, preferably someone over 1.75 meters tall." "I like taller ones too." Yes. "What education level should the man have?" "At least a bachelor's degree." "Where would you prefer he's from?" "Ideally from Zhejiang province." "And income? Around the same as your daughter's?" "Preferably a little higher, but similar is fine." "What age range?" 4 years older or younger is okay. "Because your daughter is a bit older, would she be open to someone divorced?" "Divorced with no kids would be acceptable." On paper, the daughter sounds objectively successful, and her requirements don't seem extreme. But upon closer inspection, the challenge becomes clear. She's seeking a man earning at least 200,000 yuan annually and taller than 1.75 meters, criteria that significantly narrow the dating pool. Most men who meet both are already married. And among the divorced, how many would consider a 41-year-old woman? One well-known matchmaker said she no longer accepts women over 45, unless they're open to dating divorced men, because the success rate is just too low. She shared a story about a client who first came to her at age 28 with impressive credentials. A steady job at a government agency, her own car and apartment, and attractive looks. The matchmaker introduced her to several men. "I introduced her to a guy who was 1.72 meters tall and worked in a public office, but she said he was too short. Then, I set her up with a teacher who was 1.85 meters, but she said he was too tall and thin, like a bamboo stick. Now she's 33, and she told me she regrets everything. She said, 'As long as the guy isn't awful, I'll marry him, even consider a flash marriage.' But the truth is, once a woman turns 30, the quality of blind date options drops fast, each one worse than the last. She even asked me, 'Why are the men I meet getting worse and worse?' I wanted to say, 'Sweetheart, you really don't know. Most decent men your age are already married, and the few who don't want someone younger. In China's dating market, a woman's age is often the most decisive factor. Many women who delayed marriage to focus on their careers now find the window has closed. Even beyond age, preferences around appearance, especially height, create further obstacles. Consider Zha, a woman in her 40s. She has a stable career as a department manager, owns her home and car, and earns a solid income. For years, she accepted the idea of staying single, but a recent health scare changed her mind. After seeing another hospital patient lovingly cared for by her husband, she reached out to a matchmaker, ready to settle down. Honestly, my standards aren't that high. I just want someone around my age, or under 50. He should be mature, emotionally stable, have a steady job and income. He needs to be at least 1.75 meters tall, ideally closer to 1.8. He should have a good temper, no anger issues, be responsible, caring, and know how to enjoy life. No bad habits, and a solid outlook on life. And he should be handsome. Someone I'd be proud to be seen with. I care about appearances, especially in front of family and friends. I need someone who makes me look good. Also, I was upfront about the betrothal gift. I asked for 880,000 yuan. We're all adults, and I believe women invest more into marriage, so I want some financial security up front. After hearing her detailed and costly list of requirements, the matchmaker simply walked away. The internet, however, did not. One commenter wrote, "Wait another 88 years, and your wish might come true." Another joked, "At least the matchmaker was polite enough to hear her out before leaving." Indeed, many of these older single women are accomplished and self-made. They've earned their degrees, built their careers, and secured financial independence, only to find most men their age are already taken. In a country where women are excelling, yet still fall short in love, China's dating dilemma reveals something deeper, a clash between modern aspirations and lingering cultural expectations. The real question may no longer be why so many women are still single, but why society still sees that as a problem. Modern relationships are becoming harder to navigate, especially in a society where expectations keep rising but empathy keeps shrinking. In China, a growing number of women are staying single. It is because of unrealistic demands, double standards, and deep-rooted pressures, which are creating a quiet crisis in dating and marriage. A heated argument between a couple has gone viral, and it's about his mother. The lines they draw over family boundaries are exposing much deeper issues in modern relationships. My mom's coming into the city tomorrow. We plan to take her shopping in the evening, maybe pick up a few new outfits for her. Well, I've already made plans to hang out with friends, so I won't be able to join. Then you suggested maybe she shouldn't come at all, saying, "She's fine back in the village. What's the point of coming to the city? You've been in a bad mood lately. Earlier you snapped, 'Why are we buying clothes again?' Like I'm being irrational or something. But you spend money like it's nothing. Designer bags, tens of thousands at a time. Yet the moment I want to buy a few clothes for my mom, suddenly you're all about saving money. And don't forget, when we went shopping with your mom not long ago, we got her a handbag and a watch. Did I complain? When we go out to eat with your family, the bill easily hits 4 figures, and you always expect me to pay. Let me be clear, if your mom insists on coming to the city tomorrow, then she can stay here permanently, and I'll move out. If you want to move out, be my guest. Go now. Everything in this place was paid for by me." After watching it, this commenter shared his opinion. On this, the man deserves credit. When it comes to core values, you have to stand your ground. This isn't just about personality differences. It's a reflection of poor character, broken values, and a deep lack of empathy. Women who play by double standards, demanding everything while offering nothing, are impossible to reason with. In a marriage like that, you're only signing up for heartache. Here's the story of a matchmaker. Many single women in their late 30s and 40s do have a strong sense of self-awareness. Let's hear from Ms. Li Ying. She was born in 1991. She's 161 centimeters tall, weighs about 110 pounds, works as a company cashier, and earns roughly 6,000 RMB per month. She's divorced, with a child in elementary school. She told me, "I'm really anxious. I'm getting older, not particularly attractive, and I have a child. My only advantage is a stable job. Should I start preparing to be single for the rest of my life?" She's still hopeful for a partner, someone her age, earning 20 to 30,000 RMB a month, at least 178 centimeters tall, based in Suzhou with a house and car, even with a mortgage. I told her, "Sister, your expectations are high. A divorced man earning 300,000 RMB a year likely won't consider someone with a child." She fired back, "Is 20 to 30,000 really that high? My coworkers make that. Maybe your client pool just isn't good." She added she'd lower her standards if needed and expected the man to pay a commission to prove his sincerity. That's when I realized she had no intention of investing in the search herself. I told her directly, "I can't help people like that." Another case. A 37-year-old woman divorced 2 years ago, but still lives with her ex. She says it's for the kids, but now the emotional toll is unbearable. They were married for 12 years. He's a 40-year-old doctor earning over 10,000 RMB a month. She was a full-time homemaker, raising 2 children. They divorced over constant money fights. Post-divorce, he gives her 6,000 RMB a month. But with a mortgage over 2,000, it's barely enough to survive. Worse, property division remains unresolved. She's now renting, living with their daughter, and emotionally drained. Some women still complain endlessly. He's bald, he's short-sighted, his apartment is too small. Then they say they want someone born in the 1980s, but complain he looks too stressed. Then they try a younger guy, born in the 1990s, and say he's too emotional. One woman dated a man born in 1993, twice divorced, 3 kids. She still gave it a try, but a few days in, she discovered he owed 20,000 RMB in credit card debt. She lost it. "How could I possibly fund a man's life?" she asked. I told her flatly, "You won't contribute to an older man, yet expect a younger one to support you. That's not love. It's a delusion." Here's the bottom line. No matter who you're looking for, start with a mirror. Ask yourself, am I truly a match for what I want? Sincerity is non-negotiable. Reality must be acknowledged. And clarity. Clarity is your strongest asset. Love isn't about perfection. It's about compromise. And sometimes, loosening the grip on unrealistic expectations might just lead to the very connection you've been searching for.
What happens when the most valuable asset in a nation suddenly turns into its greatest liability? In China, a real estate meltdown is underway, devouring wealth, upending lives, and shaking the foundation of the world's second-largest economy. If you're thinking of buying a home right now, think twice. Otherwise, a lifetime of savings across 2 generations could vanish overnight. In some smaller cities, properties are being offered with 0 down payment. If you're willing to take on the loan and pay the monthly installments, that's all it takes. But waiting a few more years, you might get the same home for even less. In 2025, China's once booming property market, especially in major cities like Shanghai, has entered a dramatic downturn. Prices are falling fast, with many developments slashing costs in a desperate bid to attract buyers. A housing unit in Shanghai's upscale Jing'an district, located within the prized Central Ring Road, was sold for over 15 million yuan last year. Just months later, a comparable unit was offloaded for 13 million, a drop of more than 10%. Housing, once viewed as a secure investment and a symbol of prosperity, is now becoming a financial albatross. As prices fall well below expectations, many homeowners are watching their net worth evaporate, sometimes by hundreds of thousands, even millions of yuan. Have you heard? A property in Shanghai's Greentown Rose Garden fell by 10 million yuan in just 6 months, from 45 million to 38.9 million. Then, 2 days ago, it dropped another 3.4 million. It's now listed at 35.5 million. The Shanghai housing market is brutal. This is not an isolated case. Reports show that these sharp declines are becoming more common across Shanghai. People in Shanghai are reaching their breaking point. I know many who sold their homes and still couldn't cover the mortgage. Incomes are shrinking, layoffs are constant, and many are deep in the red. A few years ago, they rushed in, 20% down payment, sky-high interest, dreaming of profits. Now, prices keep falling and the monthly payments are crushing them. They've lost hundreds of thousands or more. The market for both new and second-hand homes is now in free fall. Sellers looking to exit are cutting prices by over 30% just to find buyers. I always thought homes in this neighborhood sold for around 24,000 yuan per square meter. But now, just 19,000. That's a two-bedroom home for 950,000 yuan. We're talking about Minhang district near subways, hospitals, even a stadium. This downward spiral isn't limited to Shanghai. Similar price collapses have been reported in Hangzhou, Chengdu, Nanjing, and beyond. One stark example, China Overseas Land and Investment, one of the country's largest developers, has started slashing prices nationwide. Villas at the Chang'an Yunjin project that once sold for nearly 2.9 million yuan are now being offered at around 2 million, a drop of nearly 900,000 yuan. What's driving the collapse? Experts cite several factors. The cost of acquiring land has decreased, reducing the pricing floor for new developments. The demographic picture is bleak. Aging populations and declining birth rates mean fewer future homebuyers. Urbanization is nearing its peak, and most households have already leveraged themselves to the limit. Economic uncertainty and widespread layoffs are making people wary of long-term financial commitments, like mortgages. The freeze in the real estate sector has chilled not just property prices, but also public confidence. For many, the dream of home ownership has turned into a nightmare of debt and depreciation. Some argue that the real crisis isn't just falling prices. It's that even after prices drop, demand remains weak. Years of economic strain, compounded by the pandemic, have left many families financially paralyzed. Meanwhile, the supply-demand imbalance is staggering. Analysts estimate that China has enough housing for every person on Earth to own 2 to 3 units. Incentives like low down payments and free parking are no match for the harsh economic reality: too much supply and too few who can afford it. As long as this structural imbalance persists, a continued decline in home prices appears inevitable. Once a symbol of security and success, owning a home in China is now a gamble many can no longer afford to make. As the market crumbles and confidence erodes, the question isn't just when prices will stop falling, but whether the dream of home ownership can survive at all.